Hello and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, the channel dedicated to helping you cultivate a richer, more meaningful life. Have you ever found yourself feeling depleted by the constant chatter of the world, or even the opinions of others? Perhaps you are constantly comparing yourself to those around you, seeking validation from a world that never seems to stop talking? I understand, I've been there. What if I told you that the key to true strength, inner peace, and unstoppable personal growth lies in a simple, yet profound shift in focus? It's about focusing on yourself, truly understanding your needs and embracing silence as a source of power. If this resonates with you, please consider liking and subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth so that you never miss a video. In a world that's louder than ever, with information and demands bombarding us at every turn, the real power comes from within. And today, I'm going to show you how to tap into that inherent power by learning from the wisdom of Buddhism. We will discuss how to stop wasting your precious energy on others, on things that don't matter, while building the life you truly deserve, a life you design for yourself. Imagine a life where you are no longer ruled by constant distractions, where your energy is yours to control, and where your inner peace remains unshakable, undisturbed by the chaos of the external world. This is the path to lasting fulfillment, something we all deserve, and it starts with a deliberate choice. The path to that life starts with a single, conscious choice, to focus on yourself, to be intentional with your time, and to embrace silence in a world overflowing with noise. Are you ready to discover the remarkable strength that lies within silence? Are you ready to take control of your own destiny? Let's dive in. The very first lesson we must understand, and internalize, is this simple, yet profound truth: energy flows where attention goes. It's a fundamental principle that governs our lives, often without us even realizing it. Remember to like and subscribe if you're finding this helpful. Everything we experience in life, everything we manifest, every success we achieve is profoundly influenced by where we choose to focus our attention, whether consciously or unconsciously. In Buddhism, there is a deep understanding that our energy is a finite and limited resource, not an endless supply, and what we choose to direct it toward has a significant, often life-altering, impact on our lives. Think about it for a moment. If you are constantly focusing your attention on what others are doing, incessantly comparing yourself to them, or perpetually worrying about their opinions of you, you are essentially giving away your precious energy. You're draining your own well. You're allowing the actions, thoughts, and distractions of others to siphon away your strength and peace, leaving you feeling depleted and unfulfilled. Every precious moment spent dwelling on external matters, whether it's someone else's apparent success, their perceived failure, or their behavior, is a moment you are not investing in yourself and your own growth. In the same way that a plant requires sunlight, water, and consistent care to grow and flourish, your life requires your dedicated attention and focused energy to truly thrive. Your energy is, without a doubt, your most precious and irreplaceable resource. If you consciously choose to invest your energy in the things that truly matter to you, your personal growth, your overall well-being, and your unique life journey, that is where your true strength will ultimately lie. Imagine your energy as a powerful and life-giving river. If that river flows aimlessly toward chaos, constant distractions, or even toxic relationships, it can quickly run dry, leaving you feeling parched and empty. But when you purposefully guide that river toward your own inner peace, toward your clearly defined goals, and toward your personal growth, it begins to flow freely, bringing life and abundance to every single area of your life. This is precisely why it's so important to cultivate a mindful awareness of exactly where your attention is currently going. Are you constantly looking outward for validation? Are you allowing other people's opinions and judgments to needlessly take up valuable mental space in your mind? If so, it's time to intentionally redirect that focus inward. Start channeling your energy inward, toward understanding yourself on a deeper level, toward emotional and mental healing, and toward diligently working on achieving your dreams and aspirations. It's a conscious and deliberate choice. Remember to subscribe for more valuable insights like these. When you actively do this, you will begin to see your life transform in profound and meaningful ways. By focusing on your inner peace, on consistent self-improvement, and on personal growth, you unlock a powerful force within yourself, a force that was always there waiting to be unleashed. The more dedicated energy you pour into developing your mind, your body, and your spirit, the more your life will naturally expand, and the more fulfilled and undeniably powerful you will ultimately become. Your energy is yours to command, yours to direct. It's time to stop giving it away freely, and to start intentionally using it to shape the life you deeply desire. Now, let's move on to our second key lesson: the loudest person is usually the weakest. In a world where seemingly everyone has something to say, and feels compelled to share it, the loudest voices often demand the most attention, regardless of the value of their words. But in Buddhism, we are wisely reminded that true and lasting strength does not need to be loud, does not need to be boastful. In fact, the loudest person in the room is frequently the weakest, often masking their insecurities with volume. Why is this often the case? Because those who feel the overwhelming need to constantly speak, to endlessly boast, or to incessantly make noise, are often doing so because they are subconsciously compensating for something that is lacking within themselves. The loudest voices are frequently the ones that feel the most insecure or threatened, seeking validation from others in order to mask their own inner doubts, hidden fears, and deep-seated insecurities. It's a defense mechanism, a way to project an image of strength while concealing their vulnerabilities. When someone is constantly talking, often dominating the conversation, they are often trying to prove something, either to themselves or to the outside world. On the other hand, those who are secure and genuinely confident in their own strength, in their own abilities, don't feel the need to constantly announce it to the world, don't need to seek constant external validation. True and lasting power, in Buddhism, is subtle and quiet, yet undeniably potent. It doesn't need to be loudly announced or aggressively flaunted. It simply is. Think, for a moment, of the towering mountain. It stands tall and unyielding, firm and resolute, without constantly shouting about its greatness, without constantly announcing its presence. The mountain doesn't need to scream to prove its power or its majesty. It simply exists, standing steady and unshaken, weathering the storms with silent dignity. In your own life, this powerful lesson teaches us the paramount importance of listening more than we speak, observing carefully before we act, and showing our true strength through our consistent actions rather than through mere empty words. Strength truly lies in silence. It is found in being composed, calm, and still, even in the face of overwhelming chaos and adversity. When you consciously stop feeling the need to be loud, to constantly argue, or to incessantly seek external affirmation from others, you begin to realize that the true, unwavering source of your power comes from deep within yourself. You learn to trust wholeheartedly in your actions, in your abilities, rather than constantly relying on the fleeting and often unreliable praise of words. In moments of uncertainty or challenge, your quiet silence becomes a source of immense and unwavering power. Remember to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the content on wisdom and wealth. The key takeaway here is that silence, especially in the face of overwhelming adversity, speaks volumes about your inherent inner strength and resolute character. The strongest individuals rarely need to raise their voice, to shout, or to constantly demand attention because they inherently know their own self-worth. Instead of being loud and boastful, let your consistent and purposeful actions quietly reflect your inner strength and your unwavering peace. In that intentional stillness, you will discover a deeper connection to your true self and a far greater sense of personal power. Our third lesson is, comparison is the thief of joy. In today's hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded with carefully curated images of others' apparent successes, their celebrated achievements, and their seemingly perfect lifestyles. Social media platforms, targeted advertisements, and even casual conversations often trigger feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt within us. This constant and relentless comparison to others has insidiously become a major source of unnecessary stress and profound unhappiness for many. But, in the wisdom of Buddhism, we learn that constant comparison is, indeed, the thief of joy, robbing us of the present moment and distorting our perceptions. When we compare ourselves to others, we are often comparing our own, very real, behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's meticulously crafted highlight reel. We conveniently forget that everyone, without exception, has their own unique struggles, their own challenging battles, and their own hidden vulnerabilities. We see only the carefully polished and expertly presented parts of others' lives, and we consistently fail to see the often difficult and unseen struggles they might be going through. Comparison ultimately distorts our accurate perception of our own individual life journey. It robs us of the ability to be truly happy, in the present moment, with who we are, and with where we are on our unique path in life. We begin to erroneously measure our intrinsic worth by the arbitrary and often unrealistic standards set by others, forgetting that our value is uniquely our own and is not defined by someone else's path, successes, or achievements. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to embrace self-contentment, self-acceptance, and unwavering self-love. Remember, self-compassion is key. This truly means acknowledging and accepting your own life journey, with all its twists and turns, without the constant need to measure it against the journeys of others. The ancient teachings remind us that we are each on a unique and deeply personal path, and no one else can walk it for us, no one else can experience it on our behalf. By constantly engaging in comparison, we prevent ourselves from appreciating our own progress, no matter how seemingly small it may appear to be in the grand scheme of things. Be kind to yourself. When you consciously stop comparing yourself to others, you will naturally start to feel genuinely grateful for the things you have already accomplished, both large and small. You will become more fully present in your own life, more laser-focused on your own goals and aspirations, and more deeply appreciative of your own unique gifts and talents. The more you learn to appreciate your own path, with all its challenges and victories, the more authentic joy you will undoubtedly experience in your life. Comparison, ultimately, only serves to diminish your own happiness and overall satisfaction. Embrace your own unique journey, and trust that it is perfectly tailored for you, for your growth, and for your ultimate fulfillment. When you intentionally stop comparing yourself to others, you open yourself to the abundant possibility of experiencing true and lasting joy, the joy that comes from fully accepting who you are, where you are, and trusting in your own unique process. Now, let's discuss another incredibly important lesson. The lesson is, not everyone deserves access to you. One of the most vitally important lessons in Buddhism, especially relevant in our overly connected world, is the critical concept of setting healthy boundaries. In a world that constantly demands our time, our focused attention, and our precious energy, it is essential to recognize, and truly internalize, that not everyone truly deserves access to you. In our genuine desire to be kind, generous, and compassionate, we often forget that our energy is, in fact, limited, not an infinite supply. We may even feel obligated to say yes to every request, to promptly answer every message, or to be readily available to everyone around us. But the undeniable truth is that not everyone's energy is truly in alignment with yours, not everyone's intentions are pure and well-meaning, and not everyone's presence will help you grow or meaningfully move forward on your chosen path. Buddhism teaches us that true compassion doesn't mean giving ourselves away completely to others, leaving nothing for ourselves. It's about offering sincere love and support to those who truly deserve it, to those who genuinely uplift you, while also diligently protecting our own inner peace, overall well-being, and personal growth. You possess the inherent right to thoughtfully and intentionally decide who enters your life, and who you consciously allow to share your precious energy. This is not, in any way, selfish, self-centered, or unkind. It is absolutely necessary for your personal growth, for maintaining mental clarity, and for cultivating lasting inner peace. People who are consistently toxic, emotionally draining, or manipulative can significantly and negatively affect your energy, your mindset, and your overall mental state. When you allow such individuals into your life, you are unknowingly and unwittingly giving them access to your inner peace, allowing them to disturb the calm waters within you. Over time, their negative energy can begin to overshadow your own positive energy, leaving you feeling exhausted, anxious, and deeply disconnected from your true self and your own inner wisdom. On the other hand, The people who truly deserve your valuable time and energy are those who genuinely uplift you, consistently encourage you, and actively help you grow into the best version of yourself. These individuals are naturally aligned with your core values, with your life purpose, and with your chosen path, and they will continually support you in becoming a better, more authentic version of yourself. Remember to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for even more valuable lessons. Learning to thoughtfully set boundaries doesn't mean that you stop caring about others or that you become cold and indifferent. It simply means you are learning to prioritize caring for yourself first, recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of respect, of peace, and of love, and that you should only allow those who genuinely honor and actively support your growth to have access to your precious life. It's about protecting your inner sanctuary. This is not always easy, particularly when we feel a sense of guilt for saying no, or for intentionally cutting ties with those who drain us. But Buddhism wisely reminds us that by creating healthy boundaries, we are not only protecting ourselves and our valuable energy, but we are also showing respect for our own limited time, our precious energy, and our personal space. Boundaries are, fundamentally, a vital form of self-care and self-respect, and when we consciously prioritize them, we can show up as our best selves for those who genuinely matter to us, for those who enrich our lives. You do not have to say yes to every single person or every single request that comes your way. Protect your invaluable energy by thoughtfully setting boundaries, and allowing only those who actively support your personal growth and your inner peace to have access to your precious life. By consciously doing so, you will undoubtedly preserve your overall mental and emotional well-being, enabling you to show up as your best and most authentic self in the world, radiating positivity and strength. Now, let's delve into the next vital lesson, making moves in silence. The next lesson is, your greatest moves are made in silence. In a world where everyone feels the compelling need to share every single detail of their lives, there is an undeniable and often underestimated power in intentional silence. Your greatest, most impactful moves are almost always made in silence, without the need for fanfare or external validation. This powerful lesson is deeply rooted in the ancient Buddhist teachings, where silence is seen not as a mere absence of sound, but as a profoundly intentional space that allows you to thoughtfully think, strategically plan, and purposefully act with unwavering clarity. When we speak constantly, incessantly engaging in chatter, whether with others or in the ceaseless dialogue of our own minds, we are not allowing ourselves the necessary space to truly focus and intentionally listen to our inner voice. There is undeniable power in creating quiet, in intentionally making room for the mind to gather its scattered thoughts, thoughtfully analyze complex situations, and make informed decisions that are truly free from external distractions and undue influences. Silence is, undoubtedly, the gateway to deep thought and to genuine insight. Think, for a moment, about the greatest achievers throughout history. Many of them consistently worked in intentional silence, away from the limelight, dedicating themselves to their craft. They didn't feel the constant need to broadcast every single step they took or to loudly announce their intentions to the world. They inherently understood that the true power of meaningful creation and lasting transformation comes when you consistently take action in private, without the constant need for external validation or the fleeting attention of others. It's about focusing on the process rather than the praise. Subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more tips on powerful living. In Buddhism, there's a deeply profound concept known as right action, which emphasizes the critical importance of acting in alignment with one's true self, without the influence of ego, and without the constant need for external approval or fleeting recognition. When you consistently make your moves in intentional silence, you give yourself the invaluable freedom to fail without the pervasive fear of judgment from others. You are free to experiment, to thoughtfully adjust your approach, and to intentionally grow without obsessively worrying about what others might think of you. It's about prioritizing your personal growth over external opinions. You are allowed to fully explore your chosen path without the constant interference of external noise influencing your decisions or clouding your judgment. You are free to create and innovate without the limiting pressure of others' opinions or expectations. In the constant hustle and bustle of everyday life, we often feel compelled to tell the entire world about our carefully crafted plans, our deeply cherished dreams, and our meticulously defined goals. It's a cultural norm that often feels unavoidable. Social media has undeniably created a culture where we are constantly sharing, relentlessly updating, and ceaselessly seeking feedback and validation from others. But this constant and overwhelming noise can actually dilute the inherent power of our own heartfelt intentions. True, undeniable strength comes from acting consistently and purposefully, without the constant need to explain or endlessly justify yourself to others. When you make your moves in intentional silence, you allow the world to see the impactful results of your hard work, your genuine dedication, and your unwavering commitment. Your actions will speak volumes for themselves, far more powerfully than any carefully chosen words ever could. This is not, in any way, about hiding from the world or avoiding meaningful connection with others, but rather about learning the often underestimated power of thoughtful restraint, laser-like focus, and profound introspection. Buddhism teaches us that the mind and the heart should ideally be clear, undistracted, and intentionally free of unnecessary noise, allowing for greater peace and clarity. When you can master the delicate art of silent action, you tap into a wellspring of inner power, a power that is unshaken by the constant storms of the world around you. Your life will no longer be easily swayed by others' expectations or judgments because you will have consciously created a path that is uniquely your own, intentionally tailored to your strengths and aspirations. In moments when you feel the overwhelming urge to speak, to endlessly explain yourself, or to incessantly seek approval from others, remind yourself that true strength lies in your innate ability to remain intentionally silent and laser-focused on your goals. Let your positive and impactful results speak powerfully for themselves. Remember to subscribe for more powerful tools to live a purposeful life. When your actions consistently come from a place of profound inner peace and unwavering clarity, they carry far more weight and enduring significance than any carefully chosen words ever could. Your greatest achievements ultimately come not from the distracting noise of the world, but from the intentional silence where you allow yourself to thoughtfully think, creatively create, and purposefully act without unnecessary distraction. Embrace intentional silence as a powerful tool for deep reflection, unwavering focus, and purposeful action. The more you consciously learn to move in intentional silence, the greater your impact will undeniably be because your results will consistently speak far louder and more powerfully than your words ever could. You also owe no one an explanation. In a world that relentlessly demands explanations, constant approvals, and endless justifications for every single action we take, one of the most liberating and empowering truths you can embrace is that you truly owe no one an explanation for the choices you make in your life. You are the authority of your own life. This powerful lesson is deeply rooted in ancient Buddhist wisdom, where the paramount importance of living authentically and genuinely free from external validation is rightfully emphasized as a clear path to lasting inner peace and unwavering self-mastery. From a young age, we are often conditioned to constantly explain ourselves to others, to justify our actions, and to seek their approval. From explaining our decisions to our parents to justifying our actions in the workplace to defending our choices to our friends and peers, it often feels as though we are perpetually under pressure to provide elaborate reasoning for everything we consciously do. But here's the undeniable truth. You are the master of your own life, the captain of your own ship. No one else possesses the inherent right to demand an explanation for your actions, for your deeply held values, or for the unique way you choose to live your precious life. In Buddhism, there is a powerful emphasis on living with right intention, meaning doing things for the right and thoughtful reasons, aligning your actions with your own inner truth and wisdom. When you consciously make decisions from a place of unwavering clarity, profound self-awareness, and mindful intention, you don't need to endlessly justify those decisions to anyone. True and undeniable authenticity comes from living in a way that feels genuinely true to your own inner compass, without constantly worrying about how others might perceive you or your choices. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and happiness over the fleeting opinions of others. Think about how often we feel compelled to explain ourselves, even when it's utterly unnecessary and completely unwanted. Have you ever made a specific choice simply because you felt an overwhelming need to justify it to someone else? Or perhaps you stayed in a detrimental situation longer than you should have simply because you didn't want to explain why you wanted to leave. This kind of thinking is deeply rooted in the misguided belief that others' opinions are somehow more important than your own inner peace, your own happiness, and your own well-being. However, this is absolutely not the path to authentic fulfillment, to long-lasting peace, or to unwavering joy. You inherently don't need anyone's permission to live your life in the way that feels most true to you. Whether it's the conscious decision to change careers, to lovingly leave a relationship that no longer serves you, or to intentionally take a different path than what others expect of you, it is unequivocally your choice. Remember, you are the only one who ultimately lives with the long-term consequences of your actions, and therefore, you are the only one who truly understands the complex reasons behind your carefully considered choices. Please subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for even more empowering life lessons. This doesn't, in any way, mean that you should consciously live in complete isolation or that you should automatically reject all meaningful feedback from others. Instead, it means that you should intentionally no longer feel obligated to constantly explain yourself in ways that feel inherently uncomfortable, deeply unnecessary, or utterly inauthentic. Your life is undeniably your own, and you have the inherent power to make conscious decisions that authentically align with your own values, your own deeply held needs, and your own heartfelt dreams and aspirations. Living this way allows you to intentionally preserve your precious energy, your valuable time, and your emotional resources. Constantly explaining yourself, endlessly defending your considered actions, or incessantly seeking validation from others can quickly drain your mental and emotional resources, leaving you feeling depleted and unfulfilled. This is particularly true when the explanations you offer are met with constant judgment, persistent criticism, or deep misunderstanding. It takes immense emotional strength to purposefully walk your own unique path without constantly seeking approval from others, or endlessly explaining your choices. But it's a strength that, when consciously cultivated, allows you to live authentically, fully aligned with your true self and your own inner wisdom. Buddhism actively encourages us to practice mindful detachment from the fleeting opinions of others, recognizing that external validation is not the key to happiness. This doesn't mean becoming cold or emotionally indifferent, but rather it means consciously finding an unwavering inner peace that is not overly reliant on external validation or constant approval. When you intentionally stop explaining yourself to others, you consciously reclaim your personal power and your emotional sovereignty, taking back control of your own narrative. You allow your consistent and purposeful actions to speak powerfully for themselves, and you trust that the right people, those who truly resonate with you, will inherently understand your intentions without constantly needing a detailed explanation. The mindful practice of not endlessly explaining yourself is also, in itself, a profound act of self-respect and unwavering self-love. When you intentionally trust your own considered decisions, you consistently show deep respect for your own inner wisdom, your keen intuition, and your innate capabilities. You intentionally stop giving away your precious power to others' often fleeting judgments, and instead you consistently honor your own unique path, your own inherent wisdom, and your own undeniable truth. This is, without a doubt, the ultimate act of profound self-love and genuine self-care. You consistently recognize that you don't owe anyone the undue burden of endlessly explaining why you are choosing the path that consciously feels right for you, the path that resonates with your soul. You are, after all, the ultimate authority of your own unique life, the only one who can truly live it. When you consistently make thoughtful decisions that are authentically aligned with your own deeply held truth, you inherently owe no one a detailed explanation or endless justification. Consciously live authentically, honor your own well-considered choices, and trust in the inherent wisdom that consistently guides you along your unique path. The more you intentionally release the unnecessary need for constant external validation, the more empowered, free, and authentically joyful you will undoubtedly feel. Your precious life is yours, and yours alone, to consciously live. So stop unnecessarily asking for permission from others, and intentionally begin living fully and unapologetically in your own unique truth, guided by your own inner compass. And lastly, peace is found in privacy. In today's increasingly interconnected world, genuine privacy has become a rare and often overlooked commodity, yet it's essential for our overall well-being. With constant pressure from social media, pervasive public opinions, and the growing societal need to stay incessantly connected, many of us have, unfortunately, forgotten the profound and often underestimated value of true privacy. Yet, peace is, undeniably, found in genuine privacy, and this powerful idea holds immense significance in the ancient Buddhist teachings. In Buddhism, silence, thoughtful solitude, and true privacy are intentionally seen as powerful and essential paths to lasting inner peace, genuine self-discovery, and overall fulfillment. Intentionally stepping away from the constant noise and pervasive distractions of the external world isn't viewed as isolation, avoidance, or escapism, but rather as a deeply valuable opportunity to thoughtfully reconnect with who we truly are at our core, without the external influences of others. In modern life, we're often misguidedly taught that we somehow need to be seen, incessantly heard, and constantly validated by others in order to feel worthy or successful. Yet, genuine peace ultimately comes when we consciously take a deliberate step back, intentionally seek out quiet solitude, and consistently give ourselves the invaluable space to simply exist, to simply be, without the constant pressure of external demands. When you consciously allow yourself the precious gift of thoughtful solitude, you intentionally create a sacred setting where you can deeply focus on your own scattered thoughts, your complex emotions, and your own true needs, without the constant intrusion of external demands. Without the pervasive noise of the outside world or the undue weight of other people's expectations, you can find remarkable clarity and genuine insight that's often hidden by the world's ceaseless input. Privacy offers you a truly sacred space to thoughtfully reflect on your life, to intentionally rethink your direction, and to purposefully reconnect with your own unique purpose. It's in this valuable quiet, in this intentional solitude, that you can truly and clearly hear your own inner voice, that quiet whisper within, free from pervasive distractions, free from constant judgment, and free from the endless demands of modern society. In the often overwhelming chaos of daily life, we all too easily lose touch with who we truly are at our core. Remember to subscribe for more lessons on powerful living. We get easily swept up in others' expectations, in their often critical opinions, and in their constant demands, and we forget to thoughtfully check in with ourselves, to reconnect with our own inner compass. The undeniable truth is, if we don't consciously take the dedicated time to thoughtfully retreat into intentional quiet and meaningful privacy, we risk slowly drifting away from our own true self, living a life that's increasingly shaped more by others' external approval than by our own genuine inner peace and undeniable truth. The inherent beauty of genuine privacy is that it consciously gives us the invaluable chance to mindfully disconnect from the constant and often overwhelming noise of the external world. It's in these thoughtful, quiet moments of purposeful retreat that we can consciously reset our mind, nurture our weary body, and rejuvenate our tired spirit. In Buddhism, this valuable practice is commonly known as cultivating mindfulness, the intentional practice of being fully present in the current moment, without constant judgment, and without unnecessary distractions. When we consciously create dedicated space for meaningful privacy in our busy lives, we inherently give mindfulness a chance to steadily grow and flourish, enriching our lives in countless ways. We begin to consciously value life's simple pleasures, the profound calm of being alone with our thoughts, and the deep power of intentional silence. Remember to like and subscribe for even more tips on powerful living. But genuine privacy isn't just about physical space, about intentionally creating time to be alone with your thoughts. It's also deeply about emotional and mental space, carefully protecting your inner sanctuary. In Buddhism, diligently guarding your thoughts is rightfully considered just as important as carefully protecting your physical surroundings, your personal space. The constant stream of information, often negative or critical opinions, and overwhelming emotions from others can easily crowd our minds, leading to undue stress, unnecessary anxiety, and deep confusion. By thoughtfully protecting your own precious mental and emotional space, you actively help your mind remain consistently clear, purposefully centered, and deeply at peace. You do not somehow need to share every intimate detail of your private thoughts, your personal struggles, or your cherished dreams with every single person you meet along your path. In fact, many of the most meaningful insights and transformative moments of profound growth happen in quiet, private moments, away from the prying eyes and critical ears of the often judgmental world. In today's overly connected culture, there's often intense pressure to constantly overshare, to be overly open, and to remain incessantly connected with others, leaving little to the imagination. But living in this unsustainable way can quickly take away from our inner peace, as we slowly start looking for constant approval from others rather than consciously trusting our own unique inner wisdom, our own innate capabilities. Intentional privacy, then, isn't inherently about hiding from the world, avoiding responsibility, or running away from connection. It's purposefully about creating sufficient space for genuine self-discovery, intentional self-reflection, and consistent personal growth, paving the way for overall happiness and fulfillment. It's about carefully learning to feel genuinely at ease in your own presence, embracing yourself fully, and deeply knowing that your intrinsic worth doesn't somehow depend on constant approval, ceaseless attention, or endless validation from others. Buddhism consciously teaches that genuine and lasting peace inherently comes from within, from intentionally nurturing our inner world and cultivating our own inner sanctuary. And to genuinely connect with that profound inner peace, we must intentionally give ourselves the inherent freedom to thoughtfully be alone with our thoughts, to reflect on our lives, and to reconnect with our truest selves. Those precious quiet times, those invaluable moments when we're simply with our own unfiltered thoughts, are where true self-awareness consciously begins, laying the foundation for all future growth. It's in this carefully cultivated private space that we can consciously discover unwavering clarity, resilient strength, and a far deeper understanding of who we truly are at our very core. Genuine privacy is, ultimately, a profound form of self-respect, mindful self-care, and thoughtful energy protection, allowing you to live fully aligned with your true self. Not everyone somehow needs access to your private thoughts, your precious energy, or your carefully guarded personal life. By intentionally keeping some precious parts of yourself private, and intentionally guarding your precious energy, you actively protect your long-term emotional and mental well-being, allowing you to thrive. This certainly doesn't mean unnecessarily cutting yourself off from the world, but rather it means mindfully being thoughtful about exactly who and what you consciously let into your inner world, your personal sanctuary. The people and situations consciously around you should thoughtfully align with your deeply held values, with your carefully considered goals, and with your chosen path. Sometimes intentionally stepping back into thoughtful privacy is the most powerful way to mindfully reflect on whether those external forces truly do align with your own inner wisdom. Genuine privacy isn't fundamentally about hiding from the world, avoiding meaningful connection, or running away from challenges. It's thoughtfully about creating dedicated space for personal growth, profound self-reflection, and unwavering inner peace. When you consistently give yourself these precious moments of intentional privacy, you intentionally nourish your valuable inner world and purposefully lay the strong foundation for intentional mindfulness, unwavering self-awareness, and deep personal growth. In these precious quiet times, you consciously reconnect with your own truest self, and intentionally gain the undeniable clarity needed to live a more authentically peaceful and ultimately fulfilling life. Embrace the inherent strength thoughtfully found in meaningful privacy and intentional silence, and thoughtfully see how they can both purposefully guide you to a more balanced, consistently fulfilling, and intentionally authentic way of truly living your precious life. These 7 powerful lessons are not merely abstract ideas, they are practical tools to consciously help you live with greater peace, intentional personal growth, and unwavering inner strength. Purposefully focus on yourself, intentionally welcome the power of meaningful silence, and consciously protect your invaluable energy, making it a priority in your daily life. Always remember that true and lasting power does not come from external validation or incessantly comparing yourself to others, as the modern world often encourages. Rather, it genuinely comes from thoughtfully mastering your own mind, from diligently cultivating inner peace, and from mindfully staying steadfastly committed to your own unique journey, with all its twists and turns. Thank you for purposefully being here, for taking the conscious time to invest in yourself. If this powerful message genuinely spoke to you, please thoughtfully like, comment, and subscribe for more valuable lessons on purposeful and powerful living, and for ongoing guidance on living a richer, more meaningful life. Purposefully stay silent, intentionally stay focused, and consistently stay strong.